Peace world, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Reminders. I'm Big Samir.
I'm Asia Black.
We've been quarantined in the house. We're welcoming you into our house today. And since this pandemic, we've been here just growing in ourselves, growing in our artistry. And we've learned a lot of great lessons. We're excited to share music for you today. And we're excited to go back out in the world and touring the world and connecting with everybody and feeling everybody's energy. We're going to get into something called Dust and Bones. We're going to take y'all down south to New Orleans. Feel free to clap along. Feel free to dance along. Wherever you are, get comfortable.
Hey, hey, yeah. Then it go, a little something like dust and bones.
Dust and bones.
I'm holding on to you, but
Way too long.
I'm giving up the ghost then.
Moving on.
Dust and bones.
Dust and bones.
Dust and bones.
Dust and bones.
I'm holding on to you, but
Way too long.
I'm giving up the ghost then.
Moving on.
Dust and bones.
Come on.
Dearly beloved, we gathered here today to lay to rest all the men standing in our way, to bury all the ghosts, all the skeletons and demons, all the weaknesses that keep us from receiving better things. Set an intention of
Give more, need less.
and make a way for your blessings, more freedom, less stress. Stop thinking about everyone else and underestimating yourself.
Right.
And take all of your doubt, all your guilt and depression, all you're looking for validation in people and possessions. Take all of your hurt and all of your fear, bury all of that right here. Dust and bones.
Dust and bones.
I've been holding on to you, but
Way too long.
I'm giving up the ghost then.
Moving on.
Dust and bones.
Dust and bones.
Dust and bones.
Dust and bones.
I've been holding on to you, but
Way too long.
I'm giving up the ghost then.
Hey, hey.
Dust and bones. Hey.
Quit stressing, overthinking, overworking. Clear your mind from anything that's toxic. Time to face your fears, never revisit the bitterness, the anger, the grudges you held on to. You gotta leave it all behind. Lock 'em in a prime box, bury the hatchet, get planted. Solid as a rock, you will grow like a tree. When you let it all go and feel free. Get excited about your future, keep on digging deeper to reach your highest potential. Become monumental, it was I get inside, now I'm truly satisfied. I get inside, now I'm truly satisfied. Say,
Dust and bones.
dust and bones,
I've been holding on to you, but
way too long.
I'm giving up the ghost then.
Moving on,
Dust and bones.
dust and bones.
Oh, what a feeling. Now that I can see
That I got love for something, yeah, but it ain't got love for me, nah, nah, nah.
Oh, what a feeling. Now that I can see
That I got love for something, yeah, but it ain't got love for me, nah, nah, nah.
Say hey,
Hey,
say hey,
hey,
say yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Say yeah, yeah. Say hey,
hey, hey, hey,
say hey to the hey.
hey, hey, hey,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Il est temps de tout changer, enterrer le passé, où les fantômes vont nous tirer dans leur dos.
Say again, say
Il est
again.
temps de tout changer,
Well, alright.
enterrer le passé,
It sound
les
good.
fantômes vont nous tirer dans leur dos.
Yeah.
I'ma dig down 10 feet,
Hey.
20 feet,
Hey.
30 feet, bury all those things, grab a hold of me. I'ma dig down 10 feet,
Hey.
20 feet,
Hey.
30 feet.
Oh, what a feeling. Now that I can see
That I got love for something, yeah, but it ain't got love for me. Nah, nah, nah.
Oh, what a feeling. Now that I can see
That I got love for something, yeah, but it ain't got love for me. Nah, nah, nah. And let it all What we talking about? Dust and bones, way too long. Moving on, dust and bones, way too long. Moving on, dust and bones,
Dust and bones.
dust and bones,
I'm holding on to you for
way too long.
I'm giving up the ghost then.
Moving on,
Dust and bones.
dust and
One more time,
bones,
say dust and bones.
dust and bones,
I've been holding on to you for.
way too long.
I'm giving up the ghost thing.
Moving on.
Dust and bones.
Dust and bones. Once again, we are the Reminders. Asia Black, Big Samir, live from Colorado. Keep up with us at The Reminders on all social media, theremindersmusic.com. Much love. Thanks for your time, your love, and your energy. We appreciate you. Peace.
I love that so much. Is anyone else just at home right now, like clapping away and dancing? That was incredible. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday to be here with us for the Hope Gala, for supporting victims of, or supporting survivors, I should say, of domestic violence. My name is Kylie Burse. I'm a meteorologist at 9 News, and I'm so honored to be here as one of your hosts for the evening. This is going to be an incredible night. It's maybe not the original way that we were all hoping to get together, but the fact that we're still able to do this virtually here in 2020 with everything else that's going on, it's really amazing. And hey, if you have any friends who are texting you and they're saying, hey, I can't quite get in, the link's not working, go ahead and have them either just refresh their browser, and if that's not working, tell them just do a quick little reboot of the computer. You gotta love technology. Everyone's been going through this, trying to figure out Zoom and doing all these virtual events, but we want everyone here and we wanna make sure they can do it so easily. So I'm so honored to be here this evening, one of your hosts, and then we've got the incredible Libby Pollock with us here tonight. Hi, Libby.
Hi, Kylie. Hello, Safehouse Denver supporters. I am so grateful to be here tonight. I got to dance a little bit to the Reminders. That was great. It kind of gets the soul going and our hearts going. And I'm so grateful to be here. I'm at Safehouse Denver's Counseling and Advocacy Center. Before COVID, this is where the first phone call is answered when survivors are calling for help, for advice, for services. This is where it happens. And although we cannot be together virtually, I think this place to support Safe Denver tonight. I believe everyone deserves to be safe and happy in their homes. And that's why I was so grateful to be a part of this amazing hope. Actually, Safehouse Denver does tremendous work and supports thousands of people on their journey to survive domestic abuse to them and their families. So I'm very grateful to be here. Kylie, why do you love Safehouse?
You know, I was introduced to them about a year and a half ago. And of course, you go, hey, this is a no-brainer. I want to help survivors of domestic violence. But I think for me, what really struck out when I was learning more about it is that so often when I help different nonprofits and whatever it might be, we hear from the people who directly benefit from those services. We don't hear from a lot of the people who benefit from Safehouse Denver just strictly because of how dangerous those situations can be. So we are going to hear from a survivor tonight, and I'm so excited because so often we don't get the voices that go along with all of the help that they do. And so I was so inspired to say, okay, well, let me use my voice as much as I can, bring as much awareness, as much money as we can possibly raise. And I know that I'm not the only one who's been moved to act on behalf of these survivors. So I want to go ahead and just start off by thanking some of our sponsors because the work that you guys do is so absolutely incredible. So starting off with our exclusive platinum sponsor group, we've got Buddy Boy Brands, Hotco, M. Hardeen Group, and Next One Labs. Thank you guys so much. And then of course, we've got our gold sponsors. We've got MozTech Advanced Technologies and then Mr. Joel Javer. So thank you guys so much. And a special thanks to CRL Associates, our production sponsor for the evening, and JSAV, who is providing audio and visual of tonight's event. It takes a lot of work to put together a virtual gala, and they've been working really hard. So a huge thanks to them for making it happen. And of course, in addition to all these wonderful companies and individuals, all of tonight's sponsors stepped up this year to proudly declare to our community that survivors are supported. So if you can support those businesses, show them that you support what they support. We are all kind of here for the same cause. And so it'd be amazing if we can all just help each other out as much as possible. We've got to thank our steering committee members. And while this committee, they're always a hardworking bunch, this year was particularly impressive as they quickly pivoted from an in-person event to a month-long virtual celebration. So their dedication, their out-of-the-box thinking, which you definitely need, that and a lot of creativity, is helping tonight come alive in a really spectacular way. So thank you. Congratulations to all of you. I know it's a ton of hard work, and I hope that after all is said and done and we raise a ton of money, you pour yourself a nice little glass of wine and cheers, because you guys definitely deserve it. And of course, we've got to thank the Safehouse Denver staff, without whom we know that survivors, they wouldn't get that support and those steps toward healing that they deserve. So the staff there is absolutely incredible, working hard, transitioning during the pandemic. Libby, I'm just so impressed always by the work they do. But then this year, we know that there were extra challenges that went along with making sure that people got the support that they need.
This group, the sponsors and supporters and the staff. I'm so absolutely grateful to be a part. I've been working with Shannon and Heather, and I couldn't be more happy and to be able to move forward and be ready to raise this event. So since the beginning of October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we started the ship on October 1st, the fundraising, the messaging, letting everybody know how they could support Safe House Denver, to all peek out to this. And ladies and gentlemen, already we're at $142,000. Again, let me say that, $142,000. Our goal tonight wouldn't be nice just to head over the slate just a little bit more. We're going to try to get to at least $175,000. If we have more than that, it's a major. It does major work tonight. Safe House Denver truly is here to support domestic survivors, abuse survivors, and their families, and we'll be able to do it. All right, we're at 147,000. See how this goes? It's really easy to give, ladies and gentlemen. Just connect to that link right on your screen, or get another device like your smartphone, scan the QR code, and be sure to click on the Hope butterfly. Very, very easy to give. Just use these fingers, click, click, click. You could give, and we're so appreciative of it. And also, comment, let us know you're here. Where are you watching us from? We know already we have people all over the United States and possibly internationally who are supporting Safe House Denver. So in the chat, let us know where you're from. We're so grateful you're here tonight. And also, we have 100% board attendance tonight. Every board member who has served with Safe House Denver is here tonight. And thank you so much. We're so, so grateful. So we want you to be ready to donate tonight. And we're so happy you're here.
We really are. And of course, we know the reason that we're all here tonight is, of course, to support the survivors and Safe House Denver and all of the incredible work that they do. So it's my pleasure to introduce Victoria McVicker, Safe House Denver's CEO.
Thank you, Kylie, for that introduction. This year has been challenging for everyone, but especially survivors. Their traditional ways of accessing services have changed due to the pandemic, but I'm proud to say that we've responded quickly to ensure that we can continue to provide our life-saving services. In fact, the software platform that we purchased in order to support survivors virtually is something we'll continue to use long into the future. We found that for some, it is more convenient and sometimes even safer to engage with their advocates in this way. Although we've had to reduce the number of available beds at our emergency shelter in order to allow for proper social distancing, we are still utilizing all 7 bedrooms and providing the same level of quality services every single day. I'm also happy to report that we are at capacity at our extended stay facility as well, which has made a huge difference in terms of being able to serve even more survivors. While many things in 2020 are different for all of us, our mission has not wavered, and I could not be more grateful to so many. I think it's especially fitting to start by recognizing our staff who have literally been on the front lines supporting survivors in our shelter and ESP facilities as well as remotely. We've definitely seen the intensity levels of many of the cases rise, making things like safety planning and obtaining critical resources much more challenging. I know you join me in honoring our frontline workers at Safe House Denver. I also want to echo Kylie's thanks to all of our sponsors and our event steering committee, because without them, tonight's event would not be possible. I'd like to recognize and thank our board of directors, most of whom are joining us online tonight. Their continued dedication to our mission throughout the year and their unwavering support, especially during these trying times, is so inspiring to me. And last but certainly not least, bravo to all of you, our viewers and supporters. Thank you for being a part of tonight's event. Whether you've been with us for dozens of in-person galas or whether tonight is your first time, we are so excited to have you here. Moving this critical event to a virtual format was a bit daunting, and we are so incredibly grateful for your support. Thank you for standing with us in this important work of supporting survivors of domestic violence. Now it is my honor to turn it over to our board chair, an incredible advocate for survivors, Roger Sherman.
Thank you, Victoria. I echo Victoria's thanks of our sponsors, steering committee, staff, and volunteers. I joined the Safehouse board about 6 years ago because I felt it was important for men to be active partners in the fight against domestic violence. The work we do is so important to so many in our community, and really now more than ever. We have an informative, exciting, and inspiring program tonight, but the most important part of the event is you. Safehouse Denver can't do this work, offering shelter, providing counseling, and helping survivors on their way to stability, all at no charge, without your help. We hope you'll dig deep tonight to support survivors. So I'm very pleased to be a part of this community, and I'm glad you're here with us tonight, so thank you very much. Now it's my pleasure to introduce another immensely supportive and caring partner of Safehouse Denver, representing tonight's exclusive platinum sponsor group, Pat Witcher.
Thank you, Roger, and thank you to all the board, staff, and volunteers who support survivors of domestic abuse each and every day. My name is Pat Witcher. I'm the CEO of the M. Hardeen Group, and I'm here representing John Fritzl, James Lowe, and Dwayne Weiss, who are the owners of Buddy Boy Brands, Potco, and Next One Labs. The owners and team members of M. Hardeen, Buddy Boy, Potco, and Next One are honored and humbled to partner together in support of Safehouse Denver as a platinum sponsor this year. As we began looking for organizations to support, we immediately recognized the impact that our financial contribution would make to the only agency in the city and county of Denver providing both emergency, shelter, and non-residential counseling, as well as advocacy services exclusively serving women, children, and youth who are survivors of domestic violence. Remember, the mission of Safehouse Denver is to assist adults, children, and youth in reclaiming their right to live a life free from domestic violence. So please enjoy tonight's program. Let's help them continue to succeed with their mission. On behalf of our four companies and all of tonight's sponsors, thank you again for being here. Most importantly, to the survivors, we are here for you and in yours to support you. Thank you. Back to you, Kylie.
Thank you, Victoria, Roger, and Pat. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk a little bit more about Safehouse Denver. Now it's my absolute pleasure. I want to introduce someone really special. As we've said tonight, and really all of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it's all about supporting these survivors. And this year's survivor speaker is Maisha, and she is the true definition of a survivor. So here's her story in her own words.
It started off verbally abusive and we wanted to end it then. But by fall, I was already pregnant and we decided to stay together. I wanted this family, he wanted this family. This was his first child and my third. And I didn't want it to be another failed relationship with kids in it. My kids were seeing it. My son, who was 3 at the time, my daughter, who was 6. And it became, okay, I'm going to shut them into the room so they don't see, but they can still hear it. My family was wondering what was going on. You went from this bubbly, outgoing person to this person who doesn't talk to us anymore, who shuts us out, who can't work, can't dress a certain way, and just not yourself anymore. And he made me to believe that they were just jealous. And, you know, at that time I had to choose. I either chose my family who didn't want me in that situation, or I chose him and make this family work. And I chose wrong, but I chose him. I went from maybe 107, 5'2", 107 to 90 pounds depressed on antidepressants, and just seeing a therapist asking what's wrong with me, why can't I feel like I'm happy, or why am I not feeling like this person. And I would hear friends, you know, coming in and try to talk sense into me, like, you know, you weren't like this before you met him. He's, you know, mentally abusive towards you, and he calls you names and he hurts you. And I'm like, well, maybe if I made dinner on time and this wouldn't happen, or I made every excuse in the world of why it happened, and it was always my fault. I tried to commit suicide 3 times in that time span. It was either by pills or by cutting my wrist or just doing something stupid where I felt like I had to get away. I eventually went to the hospital. After getting out, I thought that things would be better. Maybe the medicine that they gave me, I would be more happy, be more cheerful. It just didn't work. We go to Georgia and it's horrible. I have no friends, no family. I have no sense of where I am, who, this is new. Everything's new to me. At that time, I have got pregnant with our 3rd child. And there was an argument in the morning about, if I'm not mistaken, me not having the kids quiet enough for him to go to sleep. And I was being selfish because he had stayed up all night working and I didn't keep them quiet. And as I'm leaving out the door to say, you know what, now this is going to, because when it's getting physical, someone's getting in your face and you're like, okay, let me just leave before you think that I said or did something. And as I'm leaving, he's grabbing me and my daughter sees it and she's coming to help. When I see his rage and anger turn towards my child and I had to go over there and help her, I knew it was time for me to leave. It was time for me to go. So we ended up leaving, going to a shelter, a domestic violence shelter. It was only for 30 days. And we ended up having to go to a friend's house that got their place while in the shelter. And I had a miscarriage at that time. And I know it was due to all the stress and trying to figure out things, because at that time I couldn't keep a roof over their head. I couldn't feed them. And I'm solely dependent on other people to do so. We stayed in Maryland for a while and we tried to make Maryland home. But that record of the false allegations of the domestic violence kept coming up. So I couldn't get a place. I couldn't get a job. It was like, okay, now I have to go back. I have to go fix this if I want to go forward. No matter what state I'm in, it's going to show. So after not getting in contact with him for months, I contacted him and I told him what I needed. And his conditions was he would help if I came back. And I did. I came back to Colorado. With this freedom that you have of not being abused or talked about and getting some help, it's like, do I want to go back to this? So I leave again. I go to a friend's house and you overstay your welcome with your friends so much that it's like, okay, now I have to go back. And I'm like, no, I've came this far. And by that time I ended up getting the record and they seen that he had told before that it was false allegations. So they dropped it. So I'm like, okay, I'm free of that. But going back to a friend's house is kind of, she doesn't really want us there. And then going over to here, this family's house, they don't have room for us here. So I called United Way 211. They gave me Safehouse number. And I did the intake over the phone. She asked me questions about the situation and what I was dealing with. And I told her. And the next day we were able to come. We were able to get off of the floor and out of the abusive situation and into Safehouse, where there had food for us and clothing and beds for all of us to sleep in, and we weren't cold. And I was able to still go to work and make things happen. I had an advocate, and her name is Sky. And Sky helped me with the list of apartments and low incomes and what they were accepting and who was open. And she basically led me there. And all I had to do was get on the phone calls and start putting in applications and make sure I had everything that I needed. And then we came to the extended stay, and which was like it's not our home, but it was like our home. And I always tell my kids, this is our first home after not having a home. I was reluctant to do this story. I almost wanted to back out of doing this story. Only because you're ashamed of it. You're ashamed that you have to go through something like this. You see it on the movies and you're like, oh my God, girl, seriously? You didn't think the first hit or the first time that happened? But to actually tell it to complete strangers is just different. And I wanted to do this because I know another person before me did it. And if they were scared and didn't do it, then I wouldn't be at Safehouse. And I want to pay it forward for the next girl.
It's so powerful to hear directly from someone who's gone through that situation. And a huge thank you to Maisha for being brave enough to share that story and to share every detail, because as she talked about, that shame, that feeling is very real, but the support helps you realize that that wasn't your fault, what happened to you, and that there isn't a reason to be ashamed. And yet you're so not alone when it comes to these situations. That's why Safehouse Denver exists. That's why all of us are here tonight, to make sure that these survivors are getting the help that they need to finally leave. I think what stuck out to me, that it takes 7 times on average for someone to leave an abusive partner. So it's just remarkable. And I'm just so in awe of Maisha and the work that she's done. And I'm so happy that she's in a good place, and so grateful that she was willing to share that story. Libby, I think that it kind of leaves me speechless.
Maisha, if you're out there, thank you for sharing your story. To be able to be that open and that vulnerable to share your experience with Safehouse Denver and what you had to do to get to that point, I'm really grateful that you shared. And most of all, domestic violence, it wasn't your fault. It's not your fault. And I truly believe that it just takes that one phone call to start changing. And so Maisha, again, thank you. And this is what Safehouse Denver does. It takes that person from that one moment where they just don't know what to do to steps on future. I just think of what it could be like to finally go to sleep at the extended stay and be like, we're safe, we have food, and we're going to do this. So thanks again. And ladies and gentlemen, and Safehouse Denver supporters, right now, this is the heart of the evening, the heart to heart, as I like to call it. This is when we're going to raise the big money to continue to support all the programs that are coming in. Let's just have a little fun here, Kylie.
Okay.
Now let's go over how to bid again.
Okay.
I think I've told you, but I want to make sure everybody knows. It's very easy to just click on the AES link, or go ahead and scan the QR code with your smartphone camera and click on the Hope Butterfly. 2 very, very easy ways to give. So let's start this out. Is there one person who could just start us off this evening at that $5,000 level? $5,000 does a tremendous amount here. And it just takes one click. Oh, we're there already. Joel, you gave $5,000, and we're so grateful. Let's keep the giving going. Is there one more person out there who's going to give it that $5,000 level? We're going to thank you. But let's just talk about this a little more. Let's talk about $2,500. A $25 give tonight makes a massive impact. It does. Your gift of $2,500 will provide 34 survivors with individual counseling sessions at our non-residential facilities. I mean, Kylie, think about the steps of counseling, what it could do to help you move forward and process trauma.
Well, and for me, when I hear counseling and therapy, I'm like, okay, processing that abuse, getting that help that they need to move on emotionally from that what happened to them. But then also they take it one step further at Safe House Denver, because it's not just about, getting that emotional help. It's also legal concerns. We heard what happened with Maisha. You need that help. It's expensive. It's very hard to get it. They are there to help make sure that you get the help that you need. There's safety plannings. Like you heard Maisha say, there's housing referrals, employment assistance, and then also job training referrals. Because Libby, one of the things that I didn't know was that nearly or up to 60% of victims of intimate partner violence lose their jobs at some point because of that abuse that happens. So Safe House Denver, they're there to help you move on to those next steps and get the help that you need.
Well, people are giving, and let me give some great thanks. True, thank you so much for giving. Janice, thank you so much for giving. Joel, thank you for giving. Nicholas, thank you for giving. Ghost Bitter, thank you for giving. Nathaniel and Beck, thank you for giving so much. Kathy, thank you so much. Roger, board member, $2,500.
Woo!
I appreciate that. We've had 100% board attendance, and Roger, thank you so much for that $2,500 give. Tara, thank you for giving. Susan, thank you for giving. Jamie, it just keeps going. Let's keep this going. Brenda, Kylie, it's truly these moments when people just start giving big like that I think we could really take this to the next level. Let's go to $1,000. What $1,000 does, it provides five nights of emergency shelter for a family, for a woman and her 2 children, 5 nights of life-saving emergency shelter, $1,000. Let's make this happen. You might not ever meet the person in which you're going to help, but truly this is a wonderful opportunity for you to give at a time when it is most critical. Right, Kylie?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that when it comes to that emergency shelter, I want to walk you guys through the process, how this happens for these survivors when they finally make that first call to the crisis line, which 24/7 they can call, they can talk with an advocate, and that advocate will take the time to listen to assess their situation. And if the space is available, they bring them into that shelter. And there, I think we hear shelter and we're like, okay, cool, they've got a place to sleep. But then there's bedding, there's food, there's personal hygiene items, and there's basic medical care as well. All of these things I think that we take for granted when we don't think about what if we didn't have that. And so $1,000, 5 nights for these women. Again, like you said, Libby, you might never meet them, you might never hear from them, but you know that where your money is going is making an incredible impact.
Oh, and it's coming in. We are getting Geraldine. Thank you so much for $1,000. We have some more bids. Carol and Paul, we know you care, and we're grateful that you just gave $1,000. We have more, just more amounts coming in all the time. And Melissa, thank you so much for giving. It just keeps totaling up. I wish you could see the screen I see, because it's just boom, 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 money, giving. We care about Safe House, and that's what's really important tonight. I think another thing that we've mentioned is, when COVID happened, the call center went down because all of us were locked in, and the calls to Safe House Denver truly were dropped so much. And then once it has started to open up and we all had to sort of acclimate to a new society, calls for help and have just been at a peak level. And I think that is when you really notice that you need to get out of a situation, and you're also giving to that future tonight, because it's important that people have what they need when they finally make the call to Safe House.
Absolutely.
We have lots of giving going on. Kylie, it's amazing.
It is. Well, and I just want to clarify that when we talk about those calls going down, we did a lot of news stories on this. I know personally on 9 News, and it wasn't necessarily because domestic violence wasn't happening. It was. What was happening when people were sheltered at home or safer at home, is what we all use that term. People weren't finding that time to get away safely, to make those phone calls without their partner hearing and without potentially putting themselves in a more dangerous situation. And that's one of the big differences that Safe House Denver has noticed since the pandemic, is the intensification of the escalation of that violence, whether it's emotional or it's physical, Libby. So it's just, it's a terrifying situation to think about that.
And let's keep the giving going, because there's more donations coming in. Let me tell you, Safe House Denver survivors, what $500 does. Maybe you couldn't do 1,000. 500 can work for you. It's just really easy to give. Your gift of $500 will provide a survivor with 12 counseling sessions at the shelter. Think of the impact that 12 one-on-one counseling sessions to move you forward, to help you process that trauma could do.
I mean,
And
incredible. No, it really is. And when we talk about those counseling sessions, that really is that first step. It's a critical step in beginning that healing process, Libby. And I just want to throw out a couple of stats that really kind of they hit home with me. On a typical day, there are more than 20,000 phone calls placed to domestic violence hotlines all across the country. That is an unbelievable number, 20,000. So that's on average, when you break it down, nearly 20 people per minute who are physically abused by an intimate partner. And so 20 people per minute who are abused, 20,000 who are making those calls to get themselves to a safer place. So you can understand why, Libby, those counseling sessions. And I mean, think about $500, that's 12 sessions, 12 individual sessions that could make a huge difference in someone's life going forward.
And people are giving. Brenda, thank you so much for that big give of $500. That means a lot. We've had more people give. Let me read off some names. Carol, thank you so much for giving. Tom, we're so grateful. Alexis, thank you. Jamie, thank you. I mean, Melissa, thank you so much for giving. All of this makes such a difference. Let's drop it down. Let's go to $250. It's so easy to give. You just put your phone up against the and just click for the QR code or the link. Let's go ahead. $250. It will provide a family of 4 when they come to their initial stay at the extended stay facility, 2 weeks of food. Maisha talked about that food instability, knowing that her kids did not have something to eat. And that is that's one reason why you might not make the change to leave an abusive situation and to walk into an extended stay facility, knowing you're safe, knowing that you have the tools and that your kids will not be hungry. That means big. Again, Nathaniel and Beck, thank you so much for giving. Brenda, again, thank you so much for giving. We've had major donations tonight, but Kylie, I can't imagine that feeling of your kids not being able to eat, but this $250, you're helping a family stay safe and be fed.
Well, I'm so moved by all the people who are donating and continuing to donate. So thank you to everyone. Keep them coming. The extended stay program, it's unbelievable. It was launched in 2018, and it's for those who require a little bit of extra time to kind of sort out what happens next. So between 1 to 3 months, they can pursue affordable housing, employment. They can find out where they can get some childcare options. And so it's a 6-unit apartment building, and it gives families the privacy, the independence, at a time where not only are they trying to move forward, Libby, when it comes to their lives, but also emotionally too. So taking away that worry about shelter and just saying, okay, cool, let's focus on everything else. I just love that program.
Well, I have a surprise for everybody, and I think we're going to have a little bit of fun at this. Now, we're virtual, and if we were doing this in person, it's called The Last Give. This is an exciting time, and we would do it. We'd have fun. Everybody cheers. I can't see you, but you could see me. So let me explain how you have an opportunity to win tonight 2 round-trip airfare tickets with Southwest, anywhere Southwest flies, 1 night at the Curtis Hotel, and a plethora of delicious gift cards over total of value of $500. This is the last give of $100. Right now, it's $545. For the next 10 minutes, donate $100. If you are the last person to give $100 in the next 10 minutes, right? So by $555. Now it's a strategy. You could give $100 10 times, but the goal of this is to be the last person on record in our system that gives $100, and we can see what time people are giving. You will win a $500 ultimate escape. Look at this, Kylie. I mean, we have the bindery, the noshery, and of course, tattered cover. You got to go in with a cup of coffee there. Where would you go on Southwest Airlines, Kylie?
Oh my gosh, can I go anywhere with a beach, please, and just be like socially distant,
Yes.
like enjoying the sunshine and the water. I think everyone deserves a little bit of vacation right now. And I will say, I actually just flew Southwest for the first time since the pandemic. Right now, they're keeping all those middle seats open. So it's a really awesome deal. But I just love too that we were adding a little bit of competition into the evening, because I think people really enjoy that. And while we can't cheers, in person, I hope you all have a glass of wine at home. You're enjoying, cheers each other. and donate. Where are we at on our time right now? We got what, 8
So
minutes?
based on that, Melinda, if you were the last person give at that $100 level, you'd be winning now. Now everybody else give $100 and you're going to be at the top of the line. We only have, now we're down to 8 minutes. So remember, $100 gifts provides a one night of safe shelter and individual counseling session to a domestic violence survivor. And if you're the last one to give $100 tonight, remember you could give multiple times to hit before that 5:55. You will know right after this event ends if you won. They Safehouse Denver will contact you and you'll win a $500 value anywhere with a beach. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. We're making a difference here. Let me tell you, we've had some more people give, Kylie. Let's acknowledge them.
Okay.
We want to thank again to Jennifer for giving big, Ted, Jamie, Susan, Kathy, Vicky, Jamie, again, thank you so much for giving. We are grateful. It's going to keep going. This is a month of giving, and ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing close to over $160,000. Kylie, that's a lot of money. That
It's
does
so
a lot of good.
It does. Well, and that $100, when we're talking about that, that gives you, or actually, oh, I think I jumped ahead. I already jumped ahead to your $50, Libby, because I wanted to talk a little bit about what they do for children at Safehouse
Oh,
Denver.
well, no, let's talk. $50 is important. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And so with that, you can get children counseling sessions, and 1 in 15 children, I didn't realize this, they're actually exposed to intimate partner violence each year. And 90% of these children are eyewitnesses to that violence, which just, it kind of blows my mind when I think about that. And if your donation of $50, if you couldn't give more tonight, that's okay. We'll take whatever you can get. And so these are age appropriate group sessions for those children at the shelter, Libby. So I think it's really incredible.
Well, our children need help too to process all that information and that. Okay, Reese, thank you. Tabitha, Jamie, Chelsea, Carol, Tara, all giving us at that lovely $50 level. That's big giving right now, and we are now well over. We're over $160,000. And I think another part of the counseling that we also should mention, Kylie, is the fact that a lot of times the people who are calling Safehouse Denver aren't necessarily the ones who are being abused, but they're coworkers, family members, friends who don't always know what to do, but they want to know the best way to go about to support the person that they know that is being abused. And I think they might need legal help, how to get how to help get them into counseling. And those services too are coming because everybody cares about the domestic abuse survivors. We care about you, and I think that also help that comes into Safehouse Denver needs to be mentioned, that we're a community and everybody calls in to receive to try to get help.
And I love too, because the fact that there are people who are willing to do that. And I think we all know, okay, I would do that for my friend. But one of the things that Maisha hit on was the isolation that happens in these relationships where you really end up pushing people away because of the situation and because of the abuse that kind of just ropes you in. So I love that people can have this opportunity when they see this and they can't get that help to that person by themselves. They can reach out to Safehouse Denver because Safehouse knows what to do. They know how to offer those resources and they know the proper steps going forward when sometimes as a friend, as a family member, we don't know what to do, Libby. So that's why Safehouse Denver is here.
Yes, we're here and we're doing great. Chelsea, again, thank you so much for giving. Remember, we have just 6 minutes left. On that last person to give $100, we'll win the 2 round tickets on Southwest Airlines. It's a lot. It's so exciting. It comes out too fast there. And just be sure to get that night at the Curtis Hotel. Just give your the last give $100. You know, I am so grateful for the giving. Now we're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. We're nearing $162,000. Nicholas, thank you. Kathy, thank you. I'm just so grateful, and I want to send love, gratitude, and my thanks. It really makes a massive difference when we could all come together as one and make a difference.
I know. I think that tonight, in a time like this, it's so hard to ask people to open up their wallets because so many people have lost their jobs. So many people have been furloughed, are dealing with difficult financial situations at home. So the fact that you guys all showed up tonight, not only that, you opened up your wallets, you opened up your hearts, and you said, this is still important. even with everything else that might be going on in your life right now, we thank you really from the bottom of our hearts for making that sacrifice. This year has not been easy for anyone. So the fact that you guys made time on a Saturday, you figured out how to get the Zoom all to work, which I guess we've all become a little bit more familiar with, but just so thank you for being here tonight and for donating $160,000. When I hear that number, Libby, I'm so excited at the work that can do and how many people, how many women and children that's going to support here in Denver.
And I know, and Victoria, she just came in, and we could go all night, it looks. I am thanking Victoria, Sabrina, thank you so much for giving. We've had where everyone just keeps clicking on, and I'm so grateful to be able to say those names and thank everybody. And Jamie, thank you for giving. And we are just moving along quickly here, getting to those numbers that to help Safehouse Denver.
It's just been an awesome, such a fun night. And so I hope that you guys are all having a good time at home too. And I appreciate you guys. Libby, I did want to mention, I was so excited to hear this, that I'm not sure if you're familiar with Kyle Clark and Next on Channel 9, but every week they do a word of thanks. And this week he chose Safehouse Denver as, you know, his nonprofit that he wanted to show off, and people were donating. And so there was like a little micro fundraiser, and I was so excited because, you know, Kyle, Steve, they're good friends of mine, and they were both matching, I believe it was the first $55 donations. And so while we're asking for some pretty big numbers here tonight, a lot of people across Denver gave just a little bit, $5, but that goes so far. Safehouse Denver is able to take that money and do so much good with it. So it's really cool to think about not just the people that are here tonight, but all week long who have been donating across Denver, which is just so, I don't know, I just love it.
I know, and giving is contagious. And Galena, thank you so much for giving. We just got a donation from Galena, and we're getting close, ladies and gentlemen. Just 2 minutes left. Be the last person to give $100, and it's going to make all the difference. Time to go on vacation.
Yeah, well, you got to be strategic about this, Libby, because I'm thinking, okay, you have like the phone ready to go, and then, like when we do the final countdown, when we get close, I would say like 30 seconds. That's your sweet spot, because you don't want to be too late. You don't want to miss the countdown. But like 30 seconds, have it ready to go. And then I'm excited to see how many people are going to get in right at the last minute and get that $100.
And Mallory and Lindsay, thank you so much for giving. And remember, every bit counts, and you have the whole month to give. So please let people know on social media. Send some emails out. Send this is what it's about. And we're only on October 10th. And we have so much more time in October for Domestic Abuse Survivor Awareness Month. And let's keep going.
Yeah, I think social media is such a perfect way in these times to say like, hey, you know, if you can give, if you have a little bit extra, and even if you can't give or your friends can't give, it's also about just letting people know, hey, Safehouse Denver is a resource for people. Maybe someone is in a tough situation at home right now. They didn't understand, they didn't know what their options were. They didn't know about Safehouse Denver. I think even just talking about it with your friends, with your family on social media, letting people know that, hey, this is an option. And if you can't donate this year, we'd love for you to help us out next year, or hey, pass this number on to someone that it might save their life. So, you know, share. If you can't donate, that's okay. I mean, we want you to donate, but that awareness piece of it is still so important too, Libby.
No, it absolutely. And I just, again, want to thank all of our donors tonight who jumped on board. Jamie, Brenda, Joel, Tara, Roger, all of them. They just jumped on board. They gave big. And it's truly what today is about, what the whole month is about, because we care. We truly care. Safehouse Denver is making a difference. We want to make sure that they can continue to do the much needed work in the future. Thank you so much, Kylie. I'm just so grateful to be a part of this. And I just hope to keep celebrating. Ladies and gentlemen, we're over $162,000.
Woo! I love that. It's so good. It's so exciting that people are so willing to spend time on a Saturday, open up their wallets, open up their hearts. I feel like we're getting pretty close, Libby. Where are we at with our countdown?
10 seconds. 10. Last $100. 10.
Get it in there. Oh, so excited.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Are we going to announce the winner?
They're going to contact them after this event is over. They'll send them a contact. And Ashley, thank you for giving. We'll see everybody so soon. We're so grateful.
No, thank you so much, Libby. Thank you for being a part of this tonight. Thank you to everyone for taking time. We so appreciate you. This was such a fun event, even though it wasn't the event that we're normally used to. Hopefully next year we'll all be back in the same room raising money. Make sure that you're tagging Safe House Denver on social media. And just a reminder, Denver's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it is all month long. So keep spreading that word, keep talking to people. And Libby, in closing, I do want to leave us with two wonderful pieces, unless you have any last updates for us. Are we good to go?
We're over 162,000. I think that's a ton of money. That's a lot of money. We can do a lot of good. Thank you,
so
Safe
excited.
House Denver donors.
That was amazing. Thank you guys so much. And so we are going to leave you guys with two wonderful pieces of entertainment tonight, performed by spoken word artist Jesslyn and music by Maulia, featuring Iman, inspired by the survivors that we are all here to support tonight. So enjoy. Thank you guys again. Thank you for having us. Thank you for taking the time. And thank you for donating. And we hope to see you guys again next year.
The bridge back to me. Years ago, I lived outside of who I was called to be, an undeniable case of mistaken identity, that feeling of not really being me, assaulted, neglected, and clothed in victim mentality, like an out-of-body experience, standing outside of myself, looking on in silence. No accident or coincidence, it was blatant domestic violence. A shell of a woman dreaming through the eyes of a ghost. Death was the parasite, and I the discontented host. My spirit was troubled. I needed help on the double, but nobody came, knew, or understood. I had to discover my own self-good. I was denied access and considered lifeless. I must confess I was under duress. I was in the valley of dry bones. To my own devices, I was left alone. I was grieved, wondering, can these bones live again? Can they breathe? Can they travel to another place, find a little grace? Or can I give them a voice, make a better choice? No desire to settle for the lemon's life placed before me. Rescue me. I needed the Most High to restore me. I could hear my mama saying, you can get up. Cheer up. You might have to push up, prop up, or play catch up. But please, gear up for this breakup. Go ahead and dress up. Add a little makeup. Fix up and show up. Then lift your head up. Come here, my child. Get close so you can listen up. You hear me? When you end up fed up, you must never, and I do mean ever, back up, crack up, or give up. My daddy said, baby girl, don't look back. This is a setback, but write the lyrics to your own rebirth soundtrack. Through bloodshot, tear-stained eyes, from my island of nothingism where I felt undone, in the distance I saw a beautiful mountain of a woman, clothed in strength, courage, and wisdom. On wings of hope I reached for her. She looked slightly familiar to me, similar features, but she smiled joyously. My shoulders slumped, hers squared. Some type of kindred spirit we shared. I needed a bridge to that woman waving from the mountainside. I saw her, and the phoenix in me began to rise. I began to surmise the imminent demise of the ghost that had me trapped inside. The more she waved, the more I cried, but the harder I tried, building a bridge on the back of my own blood, sweat, and tears. Every misstep, every bruise, doubt, worry, and fear. Board after board, screw after screw. Months turned into years, and I started feeling anew. I constructed the bridge that brought me back to me, to my whole perfectly flawed identity. I was redeemed and set free. While it didn't happen expeditiously, I overstand how I got over to stand with the brand new me.
Hi everyone, my name is Mawule.
And I'm E-Man.
And we are musicians here in Denver, Colorado. We want to say a big thank you to Safehouse for inviting us to be part of your gala. We definitely support the work that you all do. We believe in it, and so it's such an honor for us to be a part of y'all's special day. So we're gonna do a song called Be Free, and Be Free is a song that hasn't been released, but we felt that it was very fitting for, in terms of the subject matter, for the work that you all do, and so we are happy to share that song with you all. This is Be Free.
Don't wanna seem weak, not strong, but I'm sinking when he treats you wrong. Girl, you know it ain't right. Wanna see you pack your things and leave and fly away. Don't stay around, no, better leave him now. Ready to obey. Liberate your mind. Knowledge is your power. Oh, freedom brings ding ding in your corner. Oh, be free. Oh, be free. Build your world the way you see. See you broken, damaged, not accepted. Your life is precious. If you don't know it, please believe it. Wanna see you give your love all your heart without a question. I believe